I think everybody remembers like it snowed right before World Cup, and everyone said, "Oh, you got so lucky with World Cup." But really, actually, it was really warm, and up until then, so Jeff and the whole mountain team did an awesome job, obviously pulling that event off with how warm it was, and the fact that actually nobody else was even open. You remember, right up to Thanksgiving, we were open for a whole month before everybody else. So, but if you follow the blue, right here, around Christmas time, it was pretty cold, but then if you look at the rest of the year, compared to our 5-year average, it was pretty warm. So obviously we had a lot of ups and downs this year. And, overall pretty good year. We talk about snowfall. Here's the snowfall chart from 2009 to this year. A little bit all over the place, like you like to see, right? So, 81 inches last year. Remember that? Our marketing group says we have an average of 250 inches a year. I think someone forgot to update that slide because, So, if you look at the last 9 years, snowfall's been closer to 200. So we're this year had a pretty good year at 239. One thing I think that's interesting on this chart is that snowfall is not as reliable as it used to be. I think we all know that, right? So one of the things, we've been continuing to invest in snowmaking. That's the lifeblood here. We spend a lot of money on capital. I know everybody wants new lifts and new base lodges and a lot of those things. We keep deferring to putting money into snowmaking. That is what we spend a lot of our disproportionate share of our capital on. And I think when you see charts like this, I think you realize how important it is because we're really not getting helped out by Mother Nature. You might remember last year we had an issue with Old Man Winter. We'll probably play that video again. Okay, Andy, send him Mr. Winter. Well, I guess you know why you're here. Your efforts this year have been a real disaster.
Lowest snowfall total ever. Numbers are down across the board. What do you have to say for yourself?
I think we're done here. We expect better out of you next year. Send them the King of Spring. Chandler, stand up. Come on. All right, so a couple of things. I was talking about snowmaking. I thought it was interesting if we talked about the early and the end of the season. You might see here, this is October snowmaking. We basically doubled our snowmaking in October related to the World Cup. But what I think is really interesting is look at our March average compared to the 5 years. So, we made 400% more snow in March. As I was saying before, we're not only spending a lot more on infrastructure and buying snow guns and more efficient guns, and we're spending a ton of money on capital. And sometimes you don't see it because you just come and there was a snow gun before there, or maybe you don't even notice. But really putting it to use, and it looks like we'll be going for a long season after that. So a couple of things. This is skier visits for the last 9 years. You can see a little bit all over the board. This is since Powder's owned us. And then obviously we started making some nice progress a couple of years ago. This is last year, which was brutal and worst ever. Just in case you didn't get that part. This year's projected to be our second best in the last 10 years. So, pretty nice year. I think the real nice thing is you can see we're kind of on an upward slope other than this one really tough year. There's a lot of momentum going on for us there. If you've been at these meetings before, I always have to talk about the NPS score, which is our Net Promoter Score, which is what our guests are saying about us, how our survey results are doing. Remember I said before, we used to be really low. It's out of 100. The top ski resorts are around 70. So our chart, this is the last 6 years. We're at a 47 when we started, which is not very good. And we've been going up steadily every year. Last year, obviously with the weather, a couple days when we asked people how was the skiing. Last year was really bad. So you can be really friendly to people, but if there's like nowhere to ski, it's pretty hard to get a good survey score. So this year, we got to a 75, so that's the best that Killington's ever had. So how about a round of applause for the team? I've shown similar to this before where we show, this is the last couple of years of American skiing, and this is how we've done with capital investment through powder. As I mentioned before, everyone likes to talk about this year was Sky Peak and this year was the peak. Those are huge capital years, but on all the other years, we're spending a ton of money, upgrading infrastructure. I think the thing people don't realize is how much we really spend on lifts and lift maintenance, and there's a lot of discussion about everyone always wants a new lift, but we're constantly spending a ton of money. You just don't see it because it's pretty hidden, but I think these charts really show that. A couple of things as you walked in upstairs, you notice that there's some construction going on, so the Homeowners Association approved a plan to remodel a large part of the Grand. I thought that would be interesting to talk about. You'll notice it looks similar to the new Preston's restaurant. They really like the way we did that, and so they're taking that look and spreading it through the resort. You can see up here. So it's a $2 million project, and it's about $1.5 million for the lobby and front desk, and $600,000 for the health club. You'll notice, maybe a little hard to see here, but it's more of like a pod system. If you go to some of the newer hotels, instead of having a big front desk, they have more like pods where you go up and you talk to people at a smaller desk style. So I think that'll be pretty nice. And then as you come down, it'll kind of all feed into that whole area. So that's a pretty nice remodel that's just getting going right now. Here's a big project. We're announcing today that we're going to do a bear revitalization. So what this means is we're doing a big project at Bear. It's going to start not this summer, but next summer. And it's got some really cool attributes. We're doing this development project in conjunction with Steve Malone. I don't know if he's here. Someone around, Steve, just stand up so everyone sees you. So later, if anyone has questions, I want to build this out and walk through it. But if anyone has questions later, catch up with Steve. This project can be at retail about $110 million project. So this is a pretty big deal. A lot of cool things happening with it. So just to give you some orientation on this, this is Outer Limits right here. This is the Bear Base Lodge, and this is Devil's Fiddle. Right. So right here is the first phase of the project. It's going to be about 6 or 7 multifamily buildings. This is what we call the Devil Fiddle parking lot spaces. You know where that is? We really don't use them. So we worked out a deal with Steve to really start to put some real estate there and helping us do some other projects with that. And then phase 2 is actually going to build out across the way on a little smaller duplex type project. So that's pretty exciting. That's going to start, as I said, not this summer, but next summer. I think the piece that most of you will really appreciate is the next couple slides. We're going to spend $5 to $7 million redoing their base lodge, really trying to update it. This is kind of very early. The main thing we're trying to do is sort of like we did at the Peak. It won't be a complete knockdown, but adding a lot of glass. I mean, how many times have you been in Bear Lodge and you can't even see out the window, right? We have the most beautiful trail ever right in front of you out in limits and you can't even look out the window. So we're going to work pretty hard to do those, do a lot of renovations to improve that. And then the next thing is pretty exciting. This is a blow up of that part of the mountain. So anyone know what this is right here? Circle. That's Southbridge. So that's next summer we're moving Southbridge back. Now, if you remember, Southbridge used to come out and do a little turn. Remember, you go and as soon as you're not paying attention, it almost loses your finger. We tried to get Jeff to rebuild that, but he didn't want to have any fun. He was trying to be boring. He just wants to go straight. So instead of making a turn, we're gonna go back up the return area. It's just gonna be straight up. It's not gonna go all the way to the peak. I know people always ask that. It can't go all the way to the peak because it would never run because of the winds. So it's gonna be right where the old lift was. That's really exciting. Everyone pretty excited about that? And the reason we're calling it the Bear Revitalization because it's more than just the lift and the lodge. We're also doing some on-mountain configurations. So this, everyone remembers, we had the old snowshed crossover. Remember that? And when a couple of years ago we decided, hey, it would really be nice to go down Skyburst and not have people in front of you coming across the trail, right? So we put up the nets, And we've kind of gone back and forth between it's really nice to have, top to bottom skiing. On the other hand, when you're in Bear and you want to get out of Bear, and there's a long line at Sky Peak, you really wish you could get out a different way. So now, what we're going to do is we're bringing back the crossover, and we're going to build a bridge over the crossover. So from the stash, so people can get back this way, and then we're going to do a tunnel under Skyburst. So you're basically really kind of helping the flow there. So this is exciting for a couple of reasons. Now, obviously, you don't have to just take Sky Peak out. You can take Bear Quad. So even if Southridge isn't open, you can come back into Needle's Eye through the crossover. So, I think this solves a lot of congestion problems we have over there. And I think it'll be really nice in conjunction with this build out of the townhouse project that Steve's working on. So anyway, again, this is going to be next summer, and we're really excited. So that should be some pretty cool stuff. The other thing I just wanted to not spend a lot of time on, but you probably heard, the permits have come through on the long-awaited village project, right? So don't want to promise anything here, but some pretty cool things starting to get going. SP's starting to look at working with developers, trying to find people to build out some pieces. But I think from a big picture, if you take the Bear project and we're putting Southridge and that whole revitalization, next summer, and on the heels of that, the village starting to really kick in. In the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be some really cool stuff happening around here. So we're pretty excited about that. One more before I pass it over to Tracy. This is sort of the sequel to the Old Man Winter. Oh. Is it in there, Amy? Let's see. This is what happens when we make adjustments last minute. That's a little preview. He started slow, but picked up his game towards the end of the season.
Well, even a blind squirrel finds it up every now and then.
Who's next?
Oh, he's here.
You ready?
I'm going to hand it over. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to hand it over to Tracy Taylor to talk about some fun stuff.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? No? No. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. Bear with me. I've done this a few times. So, it's very tough to compete with the King of Spring, I think, but I'm going to try. So, there we go. Can you load that up front?
Oh, look, I got mine falling.
It's a great way to start.
I got it. Keep going, Trace.
All right, here we go. Can you hear me? Yes. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. What a great crowd. Huge crowd. We started this 4 years ago. The crowd was about this big. Just keeps getting bigger. It's very invigorating. So, my name is Tracy Taylor. I wanted to talk about two subjects today. Unfortunately, I always have to follow Mike when he has like $110 million capital projects, and I go, how am I going to compete with that? I'll do my best. So the first subject I'm going to talk about is arguably a little bit sleepy. It's not very sexy, but it's extremely important to our future of our business. The second subject is way more exciting. So let's get the sleepy, non-sexy stuff out of the way first. Did everybody pay attention to Mike's presentation? There should have been 2 slides in there that you took pause to, because I sure did. The slide that showed the temperature and the variations in the temperature, and if you looked between Christmas and the first week of March, it's frightening. We should all be pretty scared. The other one was the snowfall. We had a little bleep this year, average snowfall of about 200 inches. It doesn't matter. The snow doesn't matter. The temperatures matter a lot. That should tell everybody in this room, we got a real significant problem facing us as a resort community. What do you think it is? Global warming? Yes. And climate change is real. We as a company believe climate change is coming at us. It's coming at us pretty hard. And we need to deal with it. And as a company, we need to take responsibility, just like everybody in this room does, to take action to try to mitigate climate change. We've been after this for quite a few years with cow power, with recycling, with composting, with heat exchange from snowmaking into base lodges. So we've been really trying to tackle this. This year, we've really been focusing on solar generation. We believe solar is going to be a great opportunity to mitigate our power costs and our carbon footprint to bring it down. And I want to talk a little bit about what we're focusing on in the next 5 years with solar, because I'm hoping that it inspires everybody in this room to kind of jump on board, because everybody needs to take part of this initiative to help solve this problem. That was me several years ago. The marketing did it again. God. So our first initiative is we've invested with a solar developer in a solar farm up in north central Vermont, Virgins, Ferrisburg, Bridport area. We've got 4 500 kW farms up in this area that essentially is producing about 2 megawatts of power, which translates into about 2.5 million kilowatt hours. To kind of frame that for you, each of your homes typically uses somewhere between 10,000 and 11,000 kilowatt hours annually. So this farm produces enough power to essentially power about 250 homes. There's probably about 250 single-family homes in the Killington community. So it's an awesome system. Basically, the way this works is we get the renewable credits against our power bill. This power goes to the Green Mountain grid, and it hopefully reduces the need to suck in coal-generated power by 250 million kilowatt hours, which is a big step. Next, we're going to bring the solar development down to our own property. First phase for us here at Killington will be over at Pico. We've got a 100 kW rooftop array that we're going to be putting on the base lodge roof and the admin roof. That'll face due south. It's about 100 kW of power. We're also doing a ground mount system out in the old Bavarian lot that's been vacant for many years. That's a 150 kW system. These two arrays together will produce about 500,000, slightly north of 500,000 kWh. Again, to power 50 to 50 plus homes. We believe that this is really key from a marketing perspective. We need people to see what we're doing so they know that we care about the environment as a company. It makes sense. High visibility from a marketing perspective helps our power bill go down. It's renewable and it's right for the environment. So we think it's a win-win. This is just give you some sense of, if you don't know where the Bavarian lot is, this is the entry into Pico, heading towards Rutland, Route 4 West. This has been a vacant lot for about 30 years. I don't know if anybody remembers the old Bavarian hotel that burned, but that's about a 3-acre parcel. We're going to clip about 1 acre of that for the 150 kW array. It will be high visibility. We will screen it so that it looks right, and we're pretty excited about that. Next, we're going to salt about 20 or 30 solar trackers around both Killington and Pico. The trackers are very productive devices. They kind of follow the sun. They collect about 30 to 40% more solar energy than stationary arrays. We think we can pull in about 300,000 kWh through these devices. We're going to put some down at Skyship, some at the Killington Maintenance Garage to kind of isolate the cat yard and have high visibility from the Snowden Quad, Pico Resort Maintenance, Pico Sports Center, Wobbly Barn, H Building, which is right out here in front of the Grand, and near the Killington Gondola. Lastly, we're partnering with Tesla, and we're going to put in 3 supercharging stations. For those of you that don't know, Tesla is the largest electric car maker that just bought Solar City. These charger stations are superchargers. Essentially, there'll be a device specifically proprietary to Tesla vehicles, and there'll be a universal device next to it that any electric car can charge into. And these superchargers are powered by 100 amp service, which is basically what you have for your home. So they will typically charge a car in about 30% of the time of a normal charging station. We believe electric cars are here. I think every car company in the world knows electric cars are going to stay. And we want to get ahead of the curve and start having these salted around the ski resort. The numbers are pretty impressive. There's about $6.5 million going into our solar initiative this year, partnering with a number of developers as collaborators to this investment. We'll be producing about 3.3 million kilowatt hours through this solar array, enough to power 330 homes. Represents about 15% of our total power we need to run this place. Power is the second highest cost for the company next to labor. We've also identified a bunch of other base lodges, buildings, vacant land that's unproductive to continue building this out over the next 5 years. And our goal is to achieve 33% of our power through renewable in the next 5 years, which will be an enormous improvement to our carbon footprint and reduce our cost and really help drive us to where we need to go with this. I really encourage everybody in this room. I don't work for a solar company. I don't get paid by a solar company, but it is the right thing to do. Check it out for your home. Check it out for your business. The math on it works exceptionally well. The return on investment is awesome, and it's good for the environment. The federal government is giving 30% credits. The state of Vermont's giving 7.3% credits right off the gate. Researching it. The math works. Okay, so, non-sexy stuff, I told you. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's talk about summer. So, back in 2014, we sat right in the same room, and we kind of laid out a 5-year strategy. Kind of laid out our plan. Here's where we're going to go in 5 years. Here's the things we're going to do over time. And everybody left that party going, yeah, this is great. They're never going to execute. I'm proud to say 3 years into this, we've pulled off almost 95% of everything we talked about. We're not done yet. We got a lot more to go. It's exciting. Things are moving. We're moving into phase 4 of our mountain biking program over at Ram's Head, which I'll speak to in just a minute. We're adding several small family assets for the youth market to our adventure program, a new camping area, and a widely expanded events program that Jeff and Kim will speak to. And it'll continue to show the collaboration that we've got, and by the number of people in this room between the town, the business community, and the resort. So it's pretty awesome. All right, so I put this one in here because Salamano likes capital. So, the last 4 years, 2014, started at Snowshed, developing that out, $500,000. 2015, put in a mountain coaster, Soaring Eagle, whole bunch of other assets, ropes course, maze, $3 million. Almost $1 million last year, and we plan to put another $1 million in this year for a total of almost $5.5 million of capital investment in the last 4 years. That's pretty impressive. And it's paying off. Mountain bike park, you've seen this slide before, but I'm going to show it again for those that weren't here. Since 2014, we've gone from slightly south of 5,000 visitors to 12,000 visitors last year, 144% growth. We anticipate this upcoming year hitting 16,000 for another 33% growth. I've used this example before. Whistler Blackcomb, the king of mountain biking in North America, started in 2001 with 5,000 visitors. Last year they did 130,000 visitors. Okay? This doesn't really scale until we start getting to 20, 25,000 visitors, but we are well on our track, and you can see the upside. Gravity Logic built Whistler's bike park. Gravity Logic is designing and helping us build our bike park. You see the similarities and the potential here? Looking at summer ticket growth, which includes Summer Adventure Center and the gondola. We started in 2014 on this journey. We're doing just south of 15,000. Did 47,000 guests last year. Huge growth, looking at 55,000 for this year, slightly more conservative growth. When you look at these two at real high level, 2014 we had 20,000 guests here. This year we're looking at 70,000 guests. That's a 50,000 person swing post. That's a huge deal for this community from Memorial Day until Labor Day. Would you not agree? Okay, the mountain bike park. We have said forever that the mountain bike park is going to be the backbone of our summer business. We believe it's our greatest growth opportunity. We've said we will be the mountain biking capital of the East. We've cemented that. We believe also that mountain biking is just the tip of the iceberg as a development. It's a bit like the ski industry was in the early 70s, where it just started to boom. That's where we're at right now. We have so much opportunity with this natural asset. We believe we can kind of follow what's happening with skiing here at Killington. Quick 5-year historical path. 2014, first year we started developing, started to carve out some trails and snowshed, focusing on intermediate and novice product, which is the biggest segment of the market. Started spinning the snowshed lift weekends. Moved on to 2015, fully built out snowshed with intermediate novice product. Started spinning the snowshed lift along with K1 7 days a week. Moved our full mountain biking operation down to snowshed. Last year, we moved over to Ram's Head, started developing that out by adding 3 trails, slightly over 5 miles of terrain. This year, we're going to conclude our project over at Ram's Head with another 3 trails, slightly over 4 miles of terrain. Spin the Ram's Head lift Thursday through Monday. And then looking ahead, we'll start auditing our trails, some infill into the trail system to kind of improve flow, and then build out some more novice terrain over in snowshed. Beyond that, it's what's the next 5 years? Much like skiing. You look at the next 5 years, is it going to be Sky Peak? Is it going to be Bear Mountain? We think we've got great growth here, and we've got way more people living close by to us than Whistler ever will. So can we achieve 130,000? Absolutely. Quick look at Ram's Head. Last year, as I said, we did over 5 miles of trails. Did 1 blue, 2 blacks. This upcoming season, we're planning on a old school trail that'll be a little bit more single track, not intermediate. A true blue jump trail that'll run far right of Ram's Head Quad, and then a connector that'll bring you from true blue over to old school. Putting in a pump track at Ram's Head, and then we are putting in a skills park at the base of snowshed. This will be more of a progression park that we can bring people in to teach them, much like Accelerated Learn to Ski from years ago, if you will. Start with small progression features and going up to more challenging ones. Lastly, we're going to be putting all new bike carriers on both Snowshed 3 quad, Ram's Head quad. We started to do this at Ram's Head. Every other chair will now have a carrier on it. We used to run it a little bit archaic. You put the bike right on the same chair that you were riding in. It was very tough for the operator. It wasn't efficient for moving people quickly. These carriers, essentially now the customer just rolls the bike on the carrier, then they get on the next chair behind it. Operator takes them off. You rate your bike when you get up to the top. I mean, huge, doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it is. The last thing I wanted to just touch on is the collaboration in the community. We've been working with the town of Killington. They were able to achieve a $50,000 grant to start building out 14 miles of the master plan down by Kent Pond. 2 of 14 miles were completed last year. We'll do another 2 this year with collaboration from many other organizations, the Killington Mountain Biking Club, etc. And ultimately, the plan is to tie this to the Pittsfield trails and then back up to Killington. But this is, I don't think most people know the bullseye that we've got right now as a community. We've been working collectively with several of the surrounding towns, Rutland City, Fairhaven, Brandon, to create what is called the Killington Valley. Has everybody heard of the Killington Valley Initiative? Raise your hand if you have, yeah. we've got an opportunity here, folks, that nobody else in this country has. We're looking at all of the assets that we've got in the bullseye of central Vermont in this initiative. And we are just at the tipping point of this. Hold on to your hats, because it's going to be like a hell of a ride. Moving on to the Adventure Center, we've got a youth jungle gym we're putting in. It's basically a hybrid of a playground that'll include very little features, like a little ropes course very close to the ground, focusing on the 3 to 10-year-old market. We just feel we need to keep kids more engaged so the families spend longer time here. Bocce ball courts will be located over by the Umbrella Bar. Hoping to do some local yokel tournaments midweek. We're gonna put a very low-key camping ground in over in Vail. We believe there's a market of mountain bikers that don't want to stay in a hotel because they sleep in our parking lot in their cars. We're going to provide a little bit better experience. There's a bunch of platforms that they can bring the platforms up, put their tents on it. We'll have some fire pits, some picnic tables. We'll have 2 of the bays isolated for motorhomes and campers. We see what happens at Gifford Woods is full most of the summer. So we think we've got an opportunity for the frugal market. Working with a third-party vendor, we're going to have some hot air ballooning, tethered hot air ballooning, primarily centered around Cooler in the Mountains and the wine festival. Lastly, we're going to be using Lake Snowshed way more effectively. We're bringing in Flyboarding of Vermont. Flyboarding of Vermont is going to be doing lessons out of Lake Snowshed. And has anybody tried this before? Nobody. Who wants to try it? That was the first hand right there. You win the prize. You did the first lesson. Essentially, you put on these jet packs on your feet. There's a tether to the personal watercraft or the jet ski, and the operator essentially with the ignition, the throttle, pushes the air and water up through this tube, and it lifts you up in the air. It's about a 55-foot tether, and you can go as high as 40 feet in the air. It's very cool. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it. It was pretty fun, wasn't it? Where's Jeff now? Is he here? Jeff, are you around? Jeff, is the pond going to be deep enough for this thing? Give me surprises. Wetsuits. Solution. Last thing I want to talk about quickly is some community products that we've built that we hope we can engage the community, come and use our assets. We think it's very important to get people from the community playing here. We will continue with our summer mountain biking merchant pass. Killington Pikeville Area Association members and their employees will be able to purchase that product at a 25% discount. It's $269, works out to be about $200. Good news is our season's passes are up almost 45% this year, and they were up a couple 100% last year. That's a good leading indicator. Next, we've got what I think is a great product for the Rutland County community. We're offering a seasonal product that anybody that lives in Rutland County can buy for the Summer Adventure Park, Sunday through Friday, not valid on Saturdays, and the cost is only $59 for the whole season. Okay, so frame that out. If you go to the ticket window on any given day for a Summer Adventure Park for one day, it's $69. So this is less than a one-day pass. And we sure hope we get lots of people in the community, Rutland City, coming up here and using the assets that most people make it over and pass to C. In conclusion, I always love this slide, and it gets better and better every year. We've been working as a group here, as the business community, the resort, and the town of Killington, to kind of collaborate and build this three-legged stool. And it's sturdier than it's ever been. And we've really you've seen this 100 times before, I think. One Killington, one vision, everybody kind of flowing in the right direction really creates momentum and success. So I think we should all be really proud of the stuff that's been achieved by everybody in this community. So, here. With that, I'd like to just turn this over to Jeff and Kim from the town of Killington. Jeff is our events director, and thanks again for coming.
I think I'm done.
Am I on? All right, there we go. How we doing, folks? What's going on?
It's not a comedy act.
Fresh faces up here. So we've got a few things to talk about this summer. We're a very busy summer, and I'm going to let Kim kick off real quick with summer camps.
So summer camps, I look to see what they're bringing, and all I think of is our kids looking and just saying, I want to do that. I want to do that. And my heart starts to race. Bringing in mountain biking last year was a huge thing for us with the collaboration with the resort. This year, our summer camps, we are unique. We go 10 weeks of the summer, so we're able to provide for the working parent. We start June 19th. We do have before and after care. And this year, we went into 3 different age groups. Our camps exploded last year from 10 average the year before up to 65 average last year. So it's a great camp. One of the things that makes our camp so great is our counselors. You see Superman up in the corner up there, and Cassidy, who's around a lot. The kids get swim lessons, swim team, yoga, rock climbing, all outdoor adventures, hiking, kayaking. So for those of you with grandkids or kids, we provide Killington rates and paid rates. So feel free to talk to me if you have any questions on the summer camp.
And I got to say, it's one hell of a deal. My daughter's in there, and the local rate is outstanding.
Yeah.
She loved it last year. She's 5.5, and definitely a big smile every day when we pick her up. So, all right, we'll move on to, there's
Just a few more. Yeah, just point on me, the Batman came and visit. One of my sons, actually, who the kids just love the counselors. That's what makes our program so great, and being outdoors the entire time. Mountain biking and adventure center. We come here on Tuesdays all day. It's a great time. We get a lot of locals, a lot of Killington town kids, a lot of Rutland kids that come in and love the mountain biking.
All right, so now we got to move on to spring. We've got a huge lineup of spring, and we are the king of spring. Clearly, my man Chandler Burgess over here in the corner. We had the Hibernation Park Jam last weekend. This weekend is the Bear Mountain Mobile Challenge. We've got bands, Jamie and the Junk Show. We've got Andy Lou and the Dirty Boost. We have over 120 folks registered so far. The coolest thing about this actually is that under the 13 and under division right now has over 25 kids registered so far. So the next generation's here. So, so the older bumpers that are doing it for the hell of it, you can step out soon. It's all good. Save the need. Then we have Pondskimming, Zeki's Pondskimming. It's also going to be the Coca-Cola Ice Cold Experience. We're going to have bands all day long up there at the RVU. We have our Days of the Frosted concert. We have music starting at 11 o'clock until 6 at night. It is also on Earth Day, so what we did is we paired up with a lot of local businesses to come out. So we're going to have a massive festival village, and everybody's going to be kind of pushing out their environmental messaging. We've ordered seeds for everybody, so you can go home and plant yourself some wildflowers. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be a great afternoon. Triathlon is up next. We have absolutely no idea where that's going to go because we have so much snow. So we don't know where we're going to run to. We don't know where we're going to bike to. But we'll figure that out in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So we'll see how that shakes out. And then the May Day Slalom, of course, that's the end of the season, kind of hurrah. But we're still working for a June 1st event. So we've got that in the works. So speaking of the King of Spring, let's see how that. So we're going to step you through a quick summer presentation. We're going to go chronological order, moving through the summer. We've got a lot of big events on the forefront. We have stage races coming back, and we're looking into bringing back the criterium in Rutland, so that's going to make us definitely broaden the reach of that event. We have the Vermont Bike and Brew. It's a brand new event. We're going to have 30 beers on tap. We're going to have group rides. We're going to have kids programming. We have a kids band booked. We have an adult band booked. It's going to be an awesome afternoon. We've got a lot of live demos, and a lot of companies are getting on board with this. So it's going to be a great way to kick off mountain biking here in Killington. And we're partnering with the Mountain Bike Vermont guys on this one, so it's going to be a great way to get folks into mountain biking and just kind of start off your season. And this is one of the features that we're going to have at the Mountain Bike Vermont. It's going to be interesting. We're also going to have a tail whip contest, and that's just basically off a big jump. So we've got a lot of other cool things, and then, of course, everybody will be partying into the evening. Long Trail Century Ride, outstanding event. If you guys don't know about it, please check in with the benefits of Vermont Adaptive. It's held at the brewery. This year we added a 40-mile loop, and we also added a mountain bike portion. We didn't want to segregate folks and just say if you're a road rider, you can do this. So right now we're doing a snow shed lap session on that Saturday from 9 to 12. And basically the first hours before the general public can get on that lift and do as many laps as you can, and then go to the brewery and enjoy the barbecue in the afternoon. It's a great way to raise some funds for Vermont Adaptive. We're also kicking off adaptive mountain biking here at Killington this year. So we're going to have a lot more riders around. We're working with the state and everybody right now on loading the chairs and getting everybody out here to enjoy what we all do on a daily basis. So speaking of mountain biking, now we're working with the Killington Valley to basically make Killington area the epicenter of mountain biking. And so what we've done is we've paired with the Pittsfield Trails for this event. Now this is the Enduro East. It's one of 6 stops on the International Mountain Bike Association Enduro Series. So this is going to end up with the championship down in Snowshoe, West Virginia. We're going to do the Saturday event, 5 legs at Pittsfield Trails, and Sunday event, 5 legs here at Killington. So we're partnering, and we're basically creating a lot of awareness for the region in general. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have over 400 of the best riders on the East Coast attend. So this is a first step in kind of bringing everything together in the mountain bike world.
The American Junior Golf Association is coming back, and we're right only into July 3rd. I think we've gone through 6 or 7 events, and with collaboration with us, we sit down and we look at these events. The AJGFA is coming back for the 6th year. They bring in over 200 families into Killington the week of the holiday week. It's a really nice event for them because these golfers that have the aspiration to play college golf, about 80% of them will go on and get a scholarship after this tournament. So it's a great tournament. Also, what's going to happen this year at the Green Mountain National Golf, they're actually going to be hosting the state high school golf tournament in October. So we'll have Vermont's golfers all around coming into Killington in October. So that's a huge add for us.
And between both courses, let me go back real quick, but between both courses, Killington and Green Mountain National, we've got a full load of tournaments, and most of you folks in here have seen me play these tournaments, and we have other ones coming in this year, so that's going to also broaden the spectrum for folks enjoying our region. We also have the Killington Music Festival, 35 years going now with this event, and it's basically an outstanding way to bring in a different demographic of music lovers to this area. And they're going to be doing Saturday nights again, just like we have in the past, and our final concert will be up at the Peak. So stay tuned, they're going to be launching their lineup shortly. And then the Bike Bump Series, we had a great hit with that last year. We're going to continue that again this year. It's based off of our Ski Bump Series. And we're going to be working with the Killington Mountain Bike Club and the KVMA to pull this off again. Dirty Girl Blood Round's coming back again. The cool part about this event is that Human Movement runs this event. Now, Human Movement is a company that's owned by Powder Corporation. Now, Human Movement had run this event throughout the country in about 30 to 40 different towns. What they did is they got rid of all of them, and they're only going to run them at Killington and a Copper, and that's it. And it was more viable for them to do that, as well as creating more awareness to the resorts that it's at. So what that's going to do for us is that's going to blow this event up. We had 3,000 women here last year. So in theory, I'm thinking we're going to pull 5 this year. And we're going to get that Boston market, we're going to get that New York market. The gals that really want to run this race are going to come, and they're going to come to Killington. They're going to stay overnight. It's going to be a long weekend for them. It's going to be fun. So get your single buddies up here. Chief Jamboree's back again, so we're going to have those folks back. It's great, pretty impressive to see 250 Jeeps parked in the snowshed parking lot. And, you know, I have an old Wrangler myself, and my wife would never let me throw that much money into a Jeep again. So, and then Wine
The
Festival.
Killington Wine Festival happens again. We're at the 16th year. Noticed a new branding to emphasize the uniqueness of the gondola trips that go up for our wine festival. Throughout the weekend, there'll be lots of events going on at local restaurants, and on Sunday, the 9 and Wine golf outing happens at the Green Mountain National Golf Course. So looking forward to that. If when you walked in, there was a voucher for $5. If you didn't get that, see Noellen. She will have those for you, and if we have run out, if we printed a little bit over 100, we'll have some of those for you to get some money off of your wine festival ticket for this year. Going right into the cooler in the mountains, collaboration, of course, with the resort and the town and the business owners. You know, we look forward to having a great concert series again. I think we have a slide of what was there last year. If not, it's on our website, and we should be announcing our lineup within the next probably month and a half with all the different new bands and bands that we're going to be having for this year.
I've heard some good ones from the inside. So we have the BCD's Pro GRT coming back. That's put us on the map as one of the best resorts in the country. We had over 200 riders here last year. It was on the front end of the World Championships, so we didn't get as many riders as we thought. That word is out now. This year we're going to get a ton more riders. They all want to ride Goat Skull, which is the new trail at Ram's Head. And I just have the KTV logo up here. You know, we collaborate with KTV, we collaborate with Outside Television, World of Adventure Sports. So we're across a bunch of different channels. And I just want to give a big shout out to KTV. I think they do a fabulous job. I think it's a great way for a local business to economically jump in and get themselves on television. You know, a lot of my friends that come out there visiting, the first thing they turn on at hotel room is KTV, find out what's going on. So I think it's a great outlet for us to get our message out to the consumer. Speaking of this, we'll do the quick fight on the World of Adventure coverage of the Pro GRT. Today we have the Beast of the East Pro GRT race 2016 here at Ram's Head Mountain and Killington Resort. We have a brand new course called Goat Skull. It's root rock, it's tech, then there's also speed zones, burly berms. So it's one of those courses where you kind of have to check yourself. And plus, as yesterday we were dry during qualifiers, and so it's a whole different ballgame from yesterday to today.
You know, things are starting to stock in here. It's, in some sections at the top of the course, you can't see more than 20 or 30 feet in front of you.
Show themselves every day.
It's wild up there, like, you get traction where you don't expect to. There's just so many places where it's slating and pushes you off the line and you just have to work twice as hard.
Sports as well, so we're getting a lot of coverage through our events around the country and around the world. Next up, we have the High Fives Golf Tournament. We scored that tournament this year. They found a new home here, and we're going to build it into an entire weekend benefiting the High Fives Foundation. I don't know if a lot of folks know, but they provide outlets and resources for adaptive athletes. They've also donated a ton of money to Vermont Adaptive, so we have a great collaboration between High Fives and Vermont Adaptive. So it's going to be an outstanding weekend here in August. And then this is the new event we have coming up. It's the Under Armour Mountain Running Series. And we've got Under Armour fully behind this. It was brought to us by Powder Corporation. Now, Under Armour at home is a connected fitness platform. And you guys can read that. I'll just let you read it. But basically what we're doing is, in this day and age, we're bringing these major events in, but we're utilizing the sponsor to promote it for us. And they have a large reach. They have over 200 million global users. This is going to go through that outlet to all these people to know this event's at Killington Resort. Those folks, 200 million people, log 7 million workouts daily. And Under Armour plans to spend $150,000 to promote this event here at Killington. It's a 3-event series. It's at Killington, it's at Copper, and it's at Mount Bachelor. Now the crazy part is that's the 50K. So you start at K1, we'll send you over to Pico Base Lodge. You come back, you go up to the peak, you head down to Skyship, and then you come back up. So that's definitely not my realm. but there is a market out there. We also have a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and then we're going to do a vert K straight up to the peak. So this is a great event. We're expecting 1,500 runners the first year. And this event actually throws us into a different picture. We have a wedding at the peak this weekend. So we can't have 1,500 people run past the wedding. So, it's a great problem to have here at Killington. So we're constantly, moving and shaking, trying to figure out how we can pull this off. And we did, and it's going to work, and it's going to be great. Okay, following weekend, we have Race to the Peak. Beth and the boot camp folks. We're going to Race to the Peak. So here's the route. We're going to start at Ramsay. Come on up, all the way up to the peak. It's going to be an awesome event. We're going to help promote this event through the Under Armour event. So we'll get some repeat customers. And then, of course, the Spartan race is coming back. This is the year 2 of our 3-day deal with Spartan. And we all know what they do. So they do a lot of limping at the bar when you're down there. So, and a new one.
Yeah, so this is a new one, so not as intense at all. The Masters game, this is something that Rutland and myself and a few other rec organizations around have come up with. We're going to have different, this is for ages 40 and older, so there's a thing called the regional games, or the senior games, and the senior games is for 65 and older. We decided to do something a little bit different and do the 40 and older. We're going to have it's kind of small, but Brandon, Castleton, Clarendon, Killington, Pittsburgh, and Rutland are the different areas. It's throughout the whole week. You can go on and sign up for just the 5K. You can do a swim meet. We have free swim lessons at the Killington pool with me. And you can do 1 lap in a swim meet. So you can do the freestyle, the backstroke, different events there. Even you're going to have bocce ball. So this is for all ability levels. So look for this. This is also with the Killington Valley. We're using them, and they're using us to, again, bring this brand back together with the Rutland area. So this is going to be a great event. We're also going to end the week off at the Lookout for a nice lunch with all the different athletes coming in. So we're hoping that we bring in different athletes again, not the highest intensity, so I want to make sure I mention that, but just to come in and do something different. So look for that. That's just coming out really this week.
So down at Speedboard event it's going to be over on East Mountain Road as well, and they're working on a new name for it. So, but it is an international event at this point in time.
Correct, and it's actually known as World Cup, and this was the very first event I went to, me and my family. Amy Morrison kind of roped me into volunteering, and I thought I was going to lose it. It was very high anxiety for a mother of 4. So we are bringing it back. The date has changed. They asked for a different date, and we were able to accommodate that. I looked at the results today just to kind of give you back to what is this all about. There's people that come from everywhere: Philippines, China, Japan. and then all around Ohio. So I think the last World Cup that they did was in the Philippines. So it's a very widespread event. So we're lucky to have it here again.
Then we have our Eastern States Cup Enduro Finals at the end of September. That's our very own Rosenbaum there. So that's a great one. We're going to have another 400 riders in here as well for the finals. And then I like beer. I don't know if everybody knows that I like beer, but I think we should all have one right now. I think these guys are going to bring one out for everybody. So we got 117 beers on tap last year, so at the Brew Fest. So we're going to work on doing that again this year, of course, with 3 live bands. And then this year we've got 2 weekends of witchcraft. So what we're doing is we're expanding witchcraft to 2 weekends, which is going to be great because it's getting closer to Halloween. We've got a lot of time. We're going to stay open as well for mountain biking a little bit longer into the season. So, folks, that was our entire summer in chronological order. If I'm still married at the end of this summer, tell me I'll be happy about it. All right? And I'll see my girl when she gets older. It's all good. But once again, though, we're doing this because we are the best resort in the East Coast, and there is that demand to come here. And what we're doing is we're diversifying the summer throughout these events to draw as many people here as possible to enjoy what we enjoy on a daily basis. So, thank you.
All right, we're almost done. We're almost at an hour. So thank you for your patience. We figured the beer might hold you over. And we're at the last couple slides. How many people made it to World Cup? How many people know Herbeck? We call him Poppy. So Herbeck was instrumental, I think, as many of you know, bringing that event here. And you know, what can we say other than look at that crowd? It was pretty dramatic. 30,000 people over the weekend. And, you know, basically it was the biggest crowd for any women's World Cup ever. So that's pretty impressive. So I think we even surprised ourselves. We have a little video to recap it, to remind everybody what it was about.
There's a terrific ambiance here in Killington on this Thanksgiving weekend, and it's an area with a very rich skiing history. The only issue is they haven't had an opportunity to see many World Cup races over the years. This is an opportunity that they have really been craving.
Killington is nicknamed the Beast for good reason. It has a vertical drop of 3,050 feet and 155 trails spread out over 6 mountain peaks. Historically, Killington has been the first ski area in the eastern United States to open each winter and the last one to close. And now, for the first time ever, the FIS Alpine Ski World Cup has scheduled races here. Weather permitting, the events of women's giant slalom and slalom will take place on November 26th and 27th.
It's actually been a really warm fall, so we've been making snow since early October, and it's been pretty amazing what the team's been able to accomplish. I think at our max, we had about 140 guns. On Superstar, made about 15 to 20 feet of snow at the top. In comparison, some of the smaller resorts in the East Coast might not even have 140 guns. So we had 140 guns just on one trail.
There's been a number of milestones. Getting the snow made in a year when New England was warm, nobody's open yet. The World Cup experts came here and said, Killington, you have enough snow. So that was a major milestone, actually brought tears to my eyes. The athletes are arriving, which is so exciting. When all the young racers from around New England are here and looking up at their rock star heroes on the trail, I'm going to look around and say, okay, we did it. That'll be my reward.
A lot of my fundamental years learning how to ski really were spent in the East Coast, so I think it's going to be great. I think everybody's a little bit worried about if there will be enough snow, and I'm sure that if the weather's cold enough, the conditions are going to be great. And so that's the concern, but to be honest, most of the World Cup races, weather is a concern.
All eyes anxiously make their way to the top of the course as Michaela charges out of the start in search of the second GS victory of her career. Michaela will not stand in the top spot today. And now 7 more racers will have the opportunity to knock her off the podium.
She's in a second place behind her teammate by just 2 100ths. Michaela Schifrin gets bumped down a spot, but still on the podium right now in 3rd.
Schifrin remains in 3rd place with 2 racers left. Tessa Worley of France was world champion in giant slalom in 2013, but an injury sidelined her for the past 2 years. Today, she charges back with a vengeance.
And Tessa Worley is the new leader by over a second in Killington.
My second round felt a lot better, and if I had taken even the same aggression to the first round, it'd be a different story. But at the same time, you live and you learn. The crowd is awesome. It's so many people, and we're so excited about it, and so happy that everybody here seems excited.
The celebration continues après ski with popular band OAR entertaining the enthusiastic crowd. Tomorrow, ski racing will again take center stage in Killington as Michaela Schifrin goes for her 10th World Cup win in a row in women's slalom.
Should we do it again? Have a little toast to the next year's World Cup. 235 days. Mark the calendars. So we signed a deal for 2 years. Same weekend. I know we've had a lot of discussions on when we're doing it. It's going to be Thanksgiving weekend the next 2 years. I want to thank the residents in Killington for voting for the 100,000 to go towards this event. You know, that helped me bring it back. So I want to thank everybody for that. So we're pretty excited. We're going to we haven't put the press release. We wanted to announce it to the community first. And we'll be getting the word out to everybody else soon, but a lot more details to come. We're looking to make it bigger and better than it ever has been, so it's pretty exciting. So thank you for the support on that. We're going to wrap up. A couple of things. Everyone got a raffle ticket? We're not doing a raffle. Okay? Just making sure you're paying attention. Okay? But what you are getting is a World Cup hat. How about that? Everyone's a winner today. How about that, all right? Woo! You're going to take your ticket and go over here, and you're going to get, in a minute, and you'll get that nice, beautiful World Cup 2017 hat. Now, just one thing. If you didn't come, you don't get a hat. So don't ask for one for your friend or your spouse. You needed to come to the event. That's how it works. Okay? And then we have everyone get a drink ticket as well, plus that beer, and then we have some, we're going to be 50 off. We're going to open up this back wall, and we have some food and some drinks in the other part of the room. Just want to say thank you to everybody. Great year. Thanks for coming.